The development of democratic politics in Indonesia began from the fall of the New Order era in May 1998, and until now is experiencing ups and downs. The political contestation, which tends to heat up, is due to absence of a legal umbrella that limits the establishment of political parties, so that political parties flourish without a clear foundation and direction. These political parties carry their respective goals and interests, which are then divided into small blocks, which although this gives color to the continuations of the Indonesian democratic process. But this will also have an impact on the divisions of Indonesian society in accordance with each party's flow and class. This issue certainly make the young generation become confused, which is why I broke up this issue for today's speech. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everybody, my name is YUSTICA'S. I'm from 5 Senior High School, Pekanbaru, and today I would like to talk about a challenge of political identity for young generation perceptions of Pancasila. Speaking of the contestation, as a result of this issue, political contestation has worsened. Different party sets certainly have different interests and goals. They attack each other and try to weaken the opponent in various ways. In this case, politics is really used as a means to an end. The flow of political parties is difficult to predict because, indeed, in the political world, there are no truly friends and no truly opponents. Today, we feel that the atmosphere and situations of Indonesia's democracy has lost its spirit. Democracy no longer reflects a process of change between policies made by the authorities. Democracy, if it really stands and runs according to its nature, can give a different color from the previous era, because in it there is a process of a social life of a lost society which then become a live again. The democratic process is actually reviving and freeing the freedom to issue opinions that are in the human mind. Humans surely are God's most perfect creatures, and will be fully human if they are given the freedom to issue opinions that are in their minds. Public space no longer belongs to the community, but belongs to the interests of the authorities. This sets a bad precedent for the democratic process itself. The democracy that we desire to thrive and color the motherland as Indonesia is made up by various ethnic groups, races, religions, and languages that become the color of Indonesia and make Indonesia unique in the eyes of the world, reflected in the motto of the Indonesian people, unity in diversity will be difficult to shift. Our political elites have lost their identity as Indonesian people, as if they proclaim themselves or their party as the most correct and most meritorious. From the way they talk, their style, and the selections of organ dictions, thus they forgot that they represent their ethics and morals, which in the end, they do not provide any lessons to us as the next generations of young people. The ethical and moral foundations is the conduct of the country's leaders are not reflected in our political elites or our leaders. The protective souls and the love for people as evidenced by giving priority to the people rather than the private and the public space. Crushed by the contemporary, simple political interests, this is what makes democracy in our country is so regressive. Our political elites seems to be losing control in making policy that goes far from the people's expectations to fulfill their rights in the states that recognize and uphold differences. Of course, it's right, so that the state is available to the people at any time and everywhere. The people and law are filled with sovereignty. The challenge of increasingly rampant political identity without defined directions and goals is a very serious matter and requires us as young people to be more wise and prudent in seeing all the problems of various phenomena that occur in today's society. The younger generations, as a milestone, relay the continuations of the life of the nations must prepare themselves as well as possible, able to see of all kinds and forms of glasses, observant and responsive to see and find a way out of things that are divided from the moral values of Pancasila. We, young people, in seeing and responding to the challenge of political identity must be wise. The young generations, as educated people, must be able to gently and intelligently respond to the various colors presented by our political elites and leaders. We must be able to appear as the stabilizers and dynamists of the nations and the Indonesian state going forward, guiding with full responsibility for the struggles of the nation's founders. The heterogeneity of our society does not need to be debated, let alone disputed. The strength of the Indonesian people is actually caught in this characteristic. This difference must become the basics of study for our political elites or our leaders to take policy, so that the resulting policies fulfill a sense of justice for all Indonesian people without exceptions. We, as young people, must be able to maintain the life of these nations by taking role in accordance with our respective capacities. We must guard against political ideals by holding ranks and holding hands, so that the steps and directions of our political elites and leaders do not run away from their perceptions of Pancasila as the only one source of law. We, as young people, must be able and brave to appear at the forefront in guiding the struggles and ideals of the fighters and founders of the nations, so that we, as young people, have a decent and special place in the eyes of the people because we can actualize as a young generation that is reliable and deserves to be trusted. The younger generations truly is an extension and a place to grow the values contained in Pancasila and guardians of the 1945 Constitutions of the Republic of Indonesia. Thus, it is hoped that the era of democracy will flourish and colored because the Indonesian people should have a beautiful color with heterogeneity. Freedom of expressions will grow fast because it has the full support and guarantees that are automatically created by us as young people as bodyguards. So, let us, the young generations, of hand in hand to actually realize the importance of this issue, and together we can be more care about this nation because the young generations is the hope of the nations that still exist in taking and feeling its part in the era of democracy in whatever form and style. The young generations must be responsible for the survival of the Indonesian people. Me, Yustika Hakiki. This is the end of my speech, and thank you.